Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk the Block, the podcast where we talk about the HGTV hit show Rock the Block. I'm Amy, and I'm here today with my co-host, Steven. Steven, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm just doing fabulous. Just watched a very exciting episode of Main Suite Redemption.
Oh, yes. This week we're talking about Episode 3, Main Suite Redemption. And I should say that we are in no way affiliated with HGTV, Rock the Block. We are not designers. We are not contractors. We are just people who love design and have done a lot of remodels.
And didn't care for what we saw this week.
Well, I was so excited for this space, Stephen, because Main Suite remodels is...
Primary suite.
I'm not sure. It was primary, then it was owner suite, and now it's apparently main suite.
Is main, not prime?
Yeah,
okay.
So we're going to go with main suite because that's what they called it in the show.
That's true. Main suite. Main suite.
But
Say that 4 times.
I love main suite remodels because I think you can just make such changes to the house. I really do like the area of kind of having a little bit of seclusion, a nice relaxing space where you can get away. I love making that out of your main suite space. But it's also, I think, a really hard space to judge because basically they had to design 3 different spaces this week: a bedroom, a bathroom, and a closet. And at one point, I really thought they should name this episode Closet Redemption, not Main Suite Redemption, because so many of the teams felt like in their previous seasons, the closet was really where they fell down. So there was a lot of emphasis on closets this week. Did you think so, Stephen?
Well, yeah, they, and interestingly enough, one of the competitors was the closet judges for one of the other teams. So was it Lindsay and Leslie were the judges for Brian and Sarah and really panned their closet. And then Keith and Evan can't get over the fact that they didn't want to have a closet. They really didn't put any effort into a closet on their season, and they lost. And so, yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, our closet's bad too. So 2 of the teams specifically said that. And I think Paige and Mitch did too. Lindsay and Leslie, on the other end, as you pointed out last time,
yes,
won the bathroom, won the main suite. I'm never going to get this down. They won the main suite in their season, so they obviously weren't looking for redemption.
Yeah, they were looking to continue their dominance, I think. So
That's dominance, not doom.
All right.
Doom.
I like dominance better. So anyway, I thought this week we'd kind of go through the 3 different parts of the main suite and talk about how each team did separately and talk a little bit about what we care about and what we think is important in each space.
Yeah, I think that's we just what month is this? What year is this? Like basically 3 months ago completed our main suite remodel in our current house. And so that's fresh on the mind. In fact, I had a little PTSD in watching the show. But we also, in our previous house, did a main suite remodel there too. So yeah, we've done this a couple of times for ourselves. So obviously we had to think about what was important for us, and so just so when we start talking about the other. What the competitors did, you'll see what we think and what our preferences are. And so, what our preferences are definitely going to, bias how we talk about it. But everybody, and a lot of these things, you may not have the same perspective as we do. And so you could view it differently. But at least you know where we're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it's our podcast. So we're going to go through it with our,
everybody raise their hand if that's what they want us to do. Yep. You got 2 raised hands.
Well, we'll try to be objective. But of course, we come at it with what we think is important. So, Stephen, I'm going to start with the closet. What do you think is important in a main closet?
What I really want to have in a closet is a champagne bar and a fireplace, and it's
lots of seating.
Lots of seating because Because that's what I really want to do in there. A closet shouldn't even have clothes in it.
A closet is just a place where you want to hang out and relax, right?
Yeah, it's my thing. Especially if I have waterfront property, I want to be in a closet that has no windows.
Yes,
that's
right.
where I'm going to spend my time.
Yeah, so exactly. So you're going to want to have a couch. You're going to hang out there. Forget the waterfront. Forget the balcony.
Yeah, the closet is where I go to decompress.
Yeah, okay. Well, Stephen, I'm not quite like you.
Oh.
I mean, I like a closet that is aesthetically nice, but mainly I want a closet that's going to keep me organized. I want a closet with enough space for all of my things. I want a closet that makes sense for what I need to store in there. I need shelving for shoes. Some of these people noticeably did not have any space for where their shoes would go. I need some place where I can fold things and put them up on the shelves. I need places that will store my jewelry and what have you. And I love a closet that I can walk into, get completely dressed and walk out. But I'm not going to linger there and have a glass of champagne or have a cup of coffee or enjoy the fireplace. I'm going to get dressed and then I'm going to move out to my beautiful bedroom with my beautiful view, and that's where I'm going to relax.
Yeah, and to buttress that, in both of our closet remodels, the people that were doing our closet loved Amy because she knew exactly what she wanted. She wanted this cubby, and this section was going to be for her golf stuff. And then she needed this much hanging space, and she needed that space. They hated me because I'm like, well, I don't know. You give me a bunch of stuff, I'll figure out how to use it. But again, what do I want? What do I want out of a closet? I want my clothes to be there.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I get it, right? So this is not a custom closet. This is a spec house you're building for the buyer, but it needs to be flexible enough that the buyer can make the closet their own. And with some of these people with all of the cupboards and, built-in coffee makers and fireplaces and what have you, that stuff's not easily movable and reconfigurable, right? And so you want it to look nice, but you want it to be able to be customizable to some extent by whoever buys the house. And I guess that's not something that they were thinking of in this challenge.
Yeah, and granted, in our old house, the ceilings were 7.5 foot high. I could touch the ceiling when I was flat foot. It was really low ceilings. And in this house, we've got 10-foot ceilings. And we had to kind of fight with our closet designer on having the storage space go to the ceiling. Because, even if it's not something that we get to a lot, if you swap out, I don't do this, but if you swap out your clothes from winter to summer, Monday to Thursday, whatever, then you've got a place to put it that's not easily accessible, but you can reach it and shift your clothing around. Again, I don't do that, but I do use the storage space that is up high for things that I don't get to a lot. So yeah. I still find it very useful. And like I said, when we were designing this closet, we had to, in our current house, when you got 7.5 foot ceilings, nobody argues the shelving should go to the ceiling. So that wasn't ever an issue. But here, we did have to go back and forth with the closet designer on making sure that we were able to use all the space in the closet because it's basically a storage area.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Stephen. Make sure you're using every inch of storage space in the closet. Now, you don't want it to seem crammed. I get it. You want to have a closet that seems like it's it's maybe not roomy, but
we're not cramming shelves into our closet.
No,
we're not doing that.
Stuff. And maybe you have a nice light fixture or something like that. You can do some beautiful touches to make it a nice space when you walk into it. But basically, it is a storage space, right? And the other thing that I was really surprised we didn't see at all this week is nobody did 2 closets in the main suite. They used to call it his and her closets, but I get that that's not the way we talk about things anymore. But 2 closets for potentially the 2 people who are sharing the main suite. It was all one big closet. And I was surprised that no one even thought of that.
No. One of the closets was almost too small for one person. So It wasn't all big closets. There were 3 big closets, and then there was the closets for people who live in Florida that don't need closets as large as they do in colder places.
Yeah, so let's talk about how these people approach their closet design this week. So we might as well start with Brian and Sarah, since you were just alluding to their closet. So Brian and Sarah chose to make the closet smaller, taking the space and putting seating area in the primary bedroom, and I don't know what else they did with it. They put a tree in the bathroom, I guess, that could have been used for closet space. But basically they had a very small closet that perhaps could have been a successful closet for one person, but was not a good space for two. And secondly, they did not make good use of the storage in there. There were no shelves above the drawers, and they had sort of closets within the closets. Like they had full-length doors that supposedly had hanging and things behind them. But I'm like, you don't need to do that. You don't need to hide the hanging space. This is a closet. It is a storage space. You don't need storage space within storage space. You want to walk in. You want to be able to see your clothes. You want to be able to envision what you're doing and not be going back and forth from one closet to another. And if two people were in there, it would have been a disaster. I don't know. What do you think, Stephen?
Yeah, and since it was small and they have the doors, you would have doors that would get in the way of the other doors. And as I was trying to figure out, they also don't have any hooks or anything on the walls. So not that I do this a lot, but when I'm going out on the town and I want to look good and I've got no clue what I'm going to wear, sometimes I'll take out, now we have the open, and so I can still see the colors, and my shirts hang right above my pants, but I still will pull the pants out, and then I'll put shirts by them, or bring out shirts and try to figure out what pants go best with them. So if I've got my pants in one of these storage areas and I got shirts in the other, I'm having to open up the doors to get to shirts and then close the doors, do something with the shirts that I just pulled out, and then open up the door with the pants and try to figure out what I'm wearing that night. It seemed like such a hassle. Now, just since we're talking about them, let's kind of back up a little bit. The way the layout goes of this part of the area of the house, we're on the very top floor. We're in the back, so it is the part that is next to the waterfront, and the way it was intentionally laid out that Brian and Sarah changed. You've got a balcony, and then when you come in from the balcony, that would be the bedroom, and then that would be one half. And then on the other half was split about 60-40 between the bathroom being in the front and the closet being in the back. And Sarah and Brian walked in and go, oh, wow, this is way too much room for a closet. Let's swap and put the bedroom where the bathroom is. And so what they did, they left the closet in the same place, but they put the bedroom where the bathroom was, and then they shrunk the size of the closet so that they could have the bigger bedroom. So that's another reason. That's another way how they were different. I think, when we were talking about the show, you walk, there's a door right across. So you actually kind of, when you walk into their bedroom, it seemed a little claustrophobic. I mean, so there was the door for the bedroom, and then the closet door was right on your left, and then the bathroom door was right on your right. And, if they wanted to make closets that small so they didn't take up so much footprint, they could have had facing closets and taken a little bit of the space from the bathroom and then had another closet over there. And I think if they had done that, then
Yeah.
It might have made more sense, but yeah.
And that might have been a winning design for them because, like Stephen said, when you walk into the bedroom, it's almost like you walk into a little hallway where the closet's on your left and the bathroom's on your right. They could have easily done that so that they had a closet on either side as you walked into the bedroom. And that's awesome. If each person has their own closet, they're across from each other, and they still would have had plenty of space for the bathroom. They just, maybe they wouldn't have had room to put a tree niche in the bathroom, but they would have had plenty of space.
Yeah, what they did with the bathroom wasn't worth it being that big.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, I kind of feel overall that the bathroom space was probably too big because the teams wound up doing stuff that wound up leaving a lot of square footage unused and kind of out there. And okay, big and airy, but when you're dealing with this much square footage, you know, having something that's elegant but laid out well is more of a premium than just making sure it's as big as the space that you can put it in. So.
Okay. All right, so let's get back in the closet since we're talking closets.
We're in the closet?
Well, it feels like a closet, this little studio that we're in.
It does feel like a closet. If only it was as big as a closet.
Okay. So Brian and Sarah had my least favorite closet because it was just too small and it was designed to be pretty, not functional. And in my mind, functionality is most important for a closet. My second least favorite closet belonged to Keith and Evan. And you might say, Amy, you're crazy. They built this beautiful closet. There were art niches. There was a vanity. There was a coffee bar. There was a refrigerator. There was a frickin' fireplace. And to this I say, why do you need all this stuff in your closet? If you want a fireplace, put it in the bedroom. If you want a coffee bar, put it in the bedroom. I don't want a coffee bar in my closet. I know myself. I will spill the coffee all over my clothes, and then I'll be running off to the dry cleaner to try to save my clothes. So while they created a very luxurious space, I just don't think you need a luxurious hangout space for your closet. What do you think, Stephen?
I think there were a lot of things that they did that was good. They actually did take advantage of taking things up to the ceiling, so they did recognize that the space in the closet was for storage. But the fireplace, I mean, they're again, here's the idea. And oh my gosh. Everything had to be luxury, 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 luxury. Oh, here, we put a coffee bar in the closet. That spells luxury. I mean, they just kept saying luxury, luxury, luxury. And I'm sitting there going, no, it's, for one, you're wrong. And then two, there are other ways to describe it. You know, I mean, you can have things that add value. You can upscale things. Having taking up the wall space to have a fireplace, that is not luxury when you're looking at a closet that's really that small.
Yeah, and I think, you know, okay, so maybe if you're Taylor Swift or somebody who lives in a
would not have a closet that small.
Yeah, well, right. If you live in a 10,000 square foot house and you have a closet that's like 1,000 square feet or even bigger, right? And maybe you are having your girlfriends over to sip champagne while you try on different outfits and, you know, figure out what you're going to do on your latest TikTok video. Maybe you do have a closet that has a fireplace and a champagne bar and everything else. But this is a 3,600 square feet house.
Yeah.
It's big, but not huge. And I just don't think building out a closet as a luxury space is the best thing you can do with that house. There are other spaces that you could make more of.
Yeah, and they had their vanity in the closet.
You need natural light for your vanity.
Yes.
We as women know this. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's a total miss there too. And then, in what appears to be one of the key things that all of these teams have to do, the secret door. It's your master suite, but you need to hide stuff from yourself.
I did like, though, that they had a door between the laundry room and the closet. That was sort of the one upgrade thing they did, which is great. You can go straight from doing your laundry to putting it away.
Sure. And the other nice thing about it, I don't know how much it was hidden, but it was a full-length, a door-wide mirror, which in the tiny little closet that Brian and Sarah had, there was barely a mirror. And the mirror was blocked to you because it had this drawer that stuck out. I mean, it's just there's so many things that were just wrong about that closet. I mean, it seemed like they were designing the space for a rental. Short-term rental. But yeah, so they had the secret door, which again I think had wasted space because there's a pocket door on the other side that would be in the laundry room, and so you open up this door into the closet. And then there's space between the two doors. The pocket door seemed like it automatically, maybe it was just miracle of TV, receded into the wall, and then you go into the laundry room, which looked nice. I mean, so then you've got a place to fold all your stuff. They actually had countertops and things. So I was wondering, bringing stuff into the closet, since there was no place to set anything down, really. I mean, even if we've got this little strip of cabinetry in the middle with a marble top on it, and it's not very big. But when I bring my laundry in, I can set my stuff down on it and then put it away. When we come back from trips, we can open up the suitcase, thank you, and empty it out. Of course, you probably would be doing that, I guess, also somewhat in the laundry room too, unless you're one of those people, like I have friends who wash their clothes when they're on vacation, so when they come back, they have clean clothes. That's a different deal.
All right,
But anyway.
You're going off on a tangent, Stephen. Let's bring it back.
Well, yeah, we're talking about the usefulness of flat spaces, and so so that part of it, I thought they did well. Calling it a secret door, I don't know what the big deal is. It's a door.
Yeah, but I think the door between the closet and the laundry room where they were situated was good, and I think mirroring it is good too, right? Because you do like to have a full-length mirror in your closet.
Yeah, it's nice to see what you look like.
Yeah, every once in a while, yeah. Okay, so my second favorite closet actually belonged to Paige and Mitch. And I thought they did a great job of organizing the storage. The judge was not fond of the fact that their closet space had holes in the on the sides of the
so you could change the layout
so that
of
you
the
could
shelves.
change. I thought that was great. I mean, it doesn't look as
They weren't the only
upscale,
ones to have that. There were other teams had it too.
But I mean, it's practical, right? You're buying that house. You're going to want to configure those shelves and even the hanging racks the way you want them. But I thought their closet had lots of space, well organized. I did not see where the shoe rack was, so they lost a point for not clearly having a shoe rack, which I think is important. But they had a frickin' champagne bar in the closet and pretty much a full-size love seat, right? And again,
Right.
I just think this is not the best use of space. You're not going to hang out. If you want to have a small chair in your closet because you want to sit down somewhere where you put your shoes on or what have you, that makes sense. But a full love seat and a champagne bar, if I'm going to have a glass of champagne, I'm not sitting in my closet drinking the champagne. Maybe I'm missing out on some exciting trend. I don't know.
If you're sitting in your closet drinking wine, maybe you're trying to hide something. Maybe it's time to go to therapy because you've got the waterfront. The closet doesn't even have a window in it.
Yeah. So I mean,
now one thing Paige said that we have different ideas on. She said that when you went into the closet, she wanted you to feel like you went into a high-end department store. Which, really? I've been in a lot of high-end department stores. There's a men's shop over here that I walked in and was afraid to touch anything because they figured, because it's so expensive, right? And it was beautiful how they had it laid out with sections and your shirts were here and your suits were over there and it did look like closet. I mean, if you go into Neiman Marcus, it doesn't look like that. Mm-hmm. So thinking if that was how she was imagining it, I still wouldn't want my closet to look like that.
And hers did not look as nice as that store that you're referring to, where, a typical pair of pants would cost you about $600. So, yeah, we don't shop there. We walked in once just to see what it was like.
Yeah, and I was ready to leave as soon as we walked in there. I'm like, I'm ready. Let's go. Okay. No, there's no way I'm buying anything in here.
Okay. And, I am going to give the top closet to the twins, Lindsay and Leslie. It was not as luxurious. There was no fireplace. There was no love seat, no champagne bar. But there was a revolving shoe rack. And to me, this is practical. You have your shoes and, women out there, you can accumulate a lot of shoes for different outfits. Being able to have them in a space where you're really taking use of that storage and you can get to all of your shoes, that is value to me. And I loved the fact that they had motion-sensitive lighted racks for your clothes. If you're going to the back of the closet and you can't quite see what it is or what color it is, like how many times have you pulled out a pair of navy pants when you meant to pull out black or vice versa, right? So I think those lighted rods were great. They had the special sort of hangers that you would use for your slacks, where it was a double rod, which really does keep your slacks beautifully pressed. And then they also had the pull-down racks. So for the shorter homeowner that needs to get something off of the top hanging rack, you could easily pull that down and grab what you need. So I thought from a practical standpoint and really making use of every inch of space they had in the closet, they were the winner to me, and they didn't have all the luxury features. Now, you might disagree, but that's how I think about a closet.
Yeah, they also had motion sensitive when you walked into the closet, the lights came on, which is good. Our lights are controlled by the Echoes, so we can ask the Echoes to turn them on. They don't always listen. So I can wander into my closet and then I'm fumbling in the dark because I can't get any of them to listen to me. Backing up a little bit, Paige and Mitch also had the lighted bars. They were on a dimmer switch instead of being motion sensitive. So you had to remember to turn them on, remember to turn them off. And then they dimmed, and it was all controlled by one dimmer. So they had the lighted lights. So just pointing out that they had that too. I think the motion sensitive is better. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, we probably agree most on the closet ordering.
Yeah, the other parts I think
I
we
gave
started
Brian
there.
and Sarah ranking from 1 to 4, with 1 being the best. I gave them a 5 to start out with.
Well, yeah, and I would say the only thing about Lindsay and Leslie's closet that I would take slight issue with is they took space to put in a washer dryer. And the main suite is on the same floor as the laundry room. So I just kind of felt like, do you really need a washer and dryer in the closet if the washer and dryer is on the same floor and right nearby? The nice thing is the homeowner could easily take that washer dryer out and use that for additional shelving or closet space. So I didn't nix them too much for that, but I didn't feel like that was the most practical use of that space.
No, but that's all they did. It was a unit that does the wash and dry, so it was a very compact area. The area was cut out specifically for that. There was a pocket door in front of it. There could have been shelving up above it. They didn't have that. If you're going to have the washer and dryer, you do need a place to store the stuff that you use in the washer and dryer. So it would be nice to have shelving up above it. Again, it wasn't that much room that they took up, and it could be easily repurposed. So, yeah, probably didn't need to do it. It didn't detract too much from me. But
okay.
Yeah, but I agree that was one downer from just being able to say, yeah, they knocked it out of the park. I think that was probably, if anything, it was an inside the park home run, maybe a triple. There were a lot of bunts laid down, and the people ran to third in the other one. So, well, baseball analogy there.
Oh, yes, Stephen. I know how excited you are about the start of spring training.
Oh, my gosh. I cannot wait till every time you turn on a sports station, all they do is talk about baseball. I can't wait.
Baseball, baseball, baseball. Okay, so let's move on and talk about the bedrooms now. And I thought, the bedrooms get a little bit harder to judge because some people had things that I loved and things I didn't love in the same bedroom. But there was one bedroom that, for me, I thought was the clear winner, and that was Brian and Sarah's bedroom. I really loved the colors, the tone, the texture. I love the fact that they had like a little. Did they have like a little wet bar area there, or yeah? But they put in a fireplace, which they did not have a fireplace downstairs. It was a small fireplace, lots of ambiance, and they had a seating area by the window. And the other thing they did that was really interesting is, since they swapped the bathroom and the bedroom, as Stephen had already mentioned, is that in the bedroom they put floor-to-ceiling windows, so you didn't walk out the end of the house onto the balcony. Instead, they reused the French door, and you would walk out the side of the main bedroom to the balcony. And so they had a whole unobstructed wall of windows there in that main bedroom where you could look out. So I just thought it was the most relaxing, cohesive bedroom of all of them. And anytime you can open it up and show more of the view, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, so they had a breakfast bar. They didn't call it a coffee bar; they called it a breakfast bar. Yeah, and I thought that what they did was pretty well. So behind the bed was white, and they used a lot of textures, and they used two different textures on the wall across from the bedroom, and then they did have the fully, they had much bigger windows so you could get natural light into there. But then after the area that was directly behind the bed, on the areas to the left and right, they had a very nice material that kind of stood out a little bit, came out a little bit more from what the pattern behind it. So I thought it looked really nice in the way that they did it, accentuating the wall and giving you a bunch of different textures in the room. So I thought that worked out pretty well. And I guess they managed in the first 2 weeks to skip putting a fireplace in, but they decided the bedroom was the place to put the fireplace.
I thought it was relaxing and nice and mood setting. So, I mean, if I had to sleep in one of those bedrooms, that would be the one I would pick.
Well, see, but they're the ones that live in Florida and made fun of the people for putting fireplaces in. They're like, we live in Florida. We don't need fireplaces. Well, here we go. Here's a fireplace. I mean, which is it? You can't make fun of the other teams for having fireplaces if you're putting a fireplace in your...
Yeah, and it's true. They said you don't need a big closet in Florida because, you don't need all the clothes you need in northern climates. But yet, Brian said, as many people don't know, in Florida, sometimes you do need a sweater and a jacket. It gets chilly here in the winter. Yeah. So I guess their closet wasn't big enough for sweaters and jackets. They were a little... Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde on the whole Florida climate thing.
I think that they really wanted to spend more of their space in the bathroom and the bedroom and figured they were going to lose anyway. So they came up with excuses and tried to find reasons for having a small closet.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk next about Paige and Mitch's bedroom.
The trip hazard.
Yeah, well, okay. You beat me to the punch there, Stephen, because I thought it was beautiful. I mean, they put lesions behind the wall, so there was sort of an arch behind the bed. They configured the bed so that it was looking out the window to the balcony, and they opened up that window as well. So I thought, wow, this is really beautiful. And then they put a platform. So they raised up the bed on a platform and it looked very pretty. But let's talk functionality for a minute. It's the middle of the night. You have to go to the bathroom. The bedroom is dark. I am either falling off the platform or I'm stubbing my toe on the platform as I'm trying to get back into bed.
Yeah, if it had just been, and it would be hard to do, under the bed, then again, I don't get it. But this was it stuck out a couple of feet away from the whatever size bed. There we go. Knew I'd get back to the right part of the house. It stuck out a couple of feet, and yeah, it was pretty. But I'm looking at this going, man, I broke my toe once in a hotel because there was something under the bed that I kicked. I would be tripping over this. I would be falling off of it. I mean, because they use dark wood for the floor too. So if it's dark, there's nothing to tell you there's a step coming up. And, if you're half awake, forget about it. Forget about it. I mean, there was nothing about that I liked. It was pretty, but whew.
Yeah, I will never choose design at the expense of practicality or the expense of health and safety, quite frankly. So it was pretty, but not practical. And then let's talk about their big splurge on the balcony.
Right. So, okay. So let's set the context here. So they are in house number 1, which is, if you're looking at it from the front, it's the one to the furthest to the left. When you see the overhead pictures, all you see to the left of them are the trucks and a parking lot
and a bunch
such.
of townhouses.
Well, so this week when they're standing out on the balcony, we got to see that there's like this really dated apartment building over there that is off to the left, and you can see it from all the different balconies. But they are the ones that are going to be closest to it. So originally, they were going to put in a screened-in porch, which for me makes a lot of sense because you can have an area where you can sit out. You don't have to worry about the bugs. It has the advantage that, since the bedroom's right there, you can have the bedroom doors open and you can get some air into your bedroom if it's a really nice temperature. So that seemed to make a lot of sense. I get that you would want to have something over there on the left side of the balcony to kind of maintain your privacy, but
I thought the screen-in porch idea for Florida was a big winner, right? I mean, like, you need to have an outdoor space, and they're right on the water. There's going to be mosquitoes. There are going to be bugs. They could sit out there and relax in their screened-in porch. And as you say, they could leave those doors to the bedroom open and get a nice breeze without having to worry about bugs flying in the house. Winner, chicken dinner. But at some point, they decided to scrap that and go with...
Yeah, so one of the other teams decided to put something on their balcony, which we'll get to in a minute. And they decided that Paige had been somewhere overseas and had an outdoor shower. And so
it was life-changing.
Life-changing, having an outdoor shower. So they put in an outdoor shower on their balcony because, according to Mitch, people don't use their balconies anyway, so it gives it some use.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be taking an outdoor shower. I mean, an outdoor shower when it's by a pool or something and you're coming in after being at the pool or the beach, it makes a lot of sense. But to go out on the balcony and take a shower when it's open to neighbors and what have you, and you have a perfectly good shower inside the house, I don't know. I mean, it's not something that I would probably do that often. Now, maybe if I had one, I would love it and do it all the time. And the other thing is, if you recall from our previous episodes, Paige and Mitch are always having problems with plumbing. They've had a couple of water damage situations and leaks in their house. So I can just envision that this outdoor shower is somehow going to cause water damage, either to the floor below or into some of the walls or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, a little bit too much of a nervous Nelly, but I was not a huge fan of this investment.
No, I don't think so either. And they said, and I'm not sure I believe this either, prices in your area may differ, but what was it? It was $2,000, I think.
$2,700, I think.
$2,700 that they used to buy the shower, and they said it would cost the same as the screened-in porch. I have a hard time believing that. These porches are not that big. So, but I don't know. I've never done a screened-in porch. Neither have I bought an outdoor shower. I'm not sure I buy that.
Yeah. So anyway, Paige and Mitch did a beautiful room, but we had some challenges with the practicality of it and whether or not the outdoor shower was going to give the same value as their original idea of a screened-in porch, right?
Well, if you were thinking people don't use their balconies that often, then put in a screened-in porch, put in a fan, and make it more pleasant to go out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, having an outdoor shower, again, how is that? Anyway. Anyway,
all right. Well, let's move on to Keith and Evan, right? And so I thought their bedroom was nice. I didn't think there was anything specifically great or specifically terrible about it. They had a big chandelier in the middle of the room that just from the way it was filmed looked kind of big for the space. And then when you walked in there was like this strange little niche they had, like between the bathroom door and the closet door. And I thought, well, why didn't they have the coffee bar there instead of in the closet, right? It would have made more sense. It's right outside the bathroom. It would have been easily accessible by the bedroom. But they really didn't do anything special as far as built-ins and what have you. It was just a nice bedroom. They did do, there was one thing they did do that I really liked, though. I should take that back. They opened up the wall. Instead of the French doors, they did bifold glass doors across the whole wall to the balcony. So that was the one decision they made in the bedroom that I thought was a differentiator, and that, personally, if I lived there, I would have really appreciated.
Yeah, and well, they didn't cram art. Like they had said in a previous episode. They did have art. They had this, their theme for the whole space was gild. So there was a lot of gold. There was this huge, specific gold art piece behind the bed. Opening up the windows was their best choice. They used bifold doors here, which is fine. Takes up a little bit of room out on the balcony. And it was two, so you could open up half of it if you wanted to. Thought that was fine. Going back originally to the way the layout was when they all picked up this thing, normally, according to the original format, to get to the closet, you would have to go through the bathroom. So everybody was skipping that and going straight to having an entrance for the bathroom and an entrance for the closet from the bathroom, from the bedroom,
which I like.
Which was good, and so they couldn't help themselves that they had to. The doors couldn't open straight into the bedroom. They had to face each other, which meant there's a niche, and of course that's another place to put some stupid piece of art.
What do you really think, Stephen?
I loved it. But yes, that would have been a more reasonable place to put something like that. I mean, it wasn't the worst piece of art, but it's like, okay, they created this niche. They had to do something with it.
Yeah, they could have done something more practical and still beautiful, right? They still
sure.
put hard art there. So let's move on to Lindsay and Leslie. In their bedroom, I have such mixed feelings about, because there were some things that I really liked. I liked their color palette. I liked that they sort of had an arch behind the bed, and then they had a door on either side of the bed that was arched. That was nice symmetry, nice light wood. And as Stephen pointed out, they had some really pretty sort of wood grain molding.
Yeah, the molding
that went
looked
around.
very nice. It was coordinated, went around the doors and the openings. Yeah, they did a really nice job with that. They were the only team that had two doors coming into the bedroom.
Double doors coming
into the bedroom. Like I said, with Brian and Sarah, to me it looked extremely claustrophobic, because you're just trying to come through that area. I think, if I remember, Keith and Evan's door was a little larger, so it was a little bit easier, and I think Paige and Mitch's was probably similar to that. But I think that the double doors that they had, same color as that molding we were just talking about, looked really nice. The archways to go into the closet, to go into the bathroom. I think they did a nice job with that. And it looked very pleasant. That would not hire them to be interior designers, because the way it was staged.
Yeah, the staging wasn't great. But if you just look at the space, those aspects of the space were really good. But there were two decisions they made on the space that I think really, really hurt them and hurt the space overall. First of all, where I think everybody else enlarged the doors to the balcony, or in the case of Brian and Sarah, since they switched things around, they put floor-to-ceiling windows, in the bedroom. They kept the same size space for the door to the balcony and just put sliders in. So they didn't open up the view at all, which I thought was a huge missed opportunity. The second thing they did that I thought really hurt them is they had a lot of built-ins on one end of the room, and they were in a very pretty wood, and they had a little sink there and a refrigerator. All of it was great. But the wood was darker than the rest of the room, and it just looked like it was airdropped in. The rest of the room was very cohesive in the design, And those just didn't look like they fit. And the judge said it kind of looked like you were in a hotel. And I agree. It kind of looked like something you'd see in a hotel. You know?
Very much so. It definitely was disjoint. And maybe the palette that they used, they changed and they couldn't get a different color. Even if they had just gone maybe with just straight white, they would have been better off than using kind of this dark brown color that did look like you would find in any Marriott that you went to. We are not sponsored by Marriott. It could have been Hilton.
Okay, and then let's talk about the one other thing they did in the bedroom space, and that is the infamous cold plunge pool.
Out on the balcony. On the
balcony. Stephen, have you ever taken a cold plunge?
No. And when I've been in physical therapy and had to shove one of my feet or hand into an ice bucket, I didn't like it. But I do understand that it is supposed to be very therapeutic. Now, would I think it on the balcony, off the master? Not so sure.
Yeah, I just don't know. I have been in a cold plunge pool before, like at a spa, and it was something that I went into for, I don't know, maybe I stayed in there for 2 or 3 minutes. It wasn't something that I was lingering in, and then I would go from the cold plunge pool back to the hot tub or back to the sauna or something like that. That's how I've seen those used in a spa type of setting. I just can't imagine sort of relaxing in my cold plunge pool on the balcony enjoying the view. Maybe people would, but to me it's something that you would use for a small amount of time. You're not going to sit out there with a glass of wine and cold plunge or something. So I didn't know about the placement there.
Given we know they're going to have a pool, that it would probably make more sense to have it as a cohesive area downstairs outside rather than taking up balcony space. So these balconies are not that huge.
They're not that big, despite the fact that Mitch says nobody uses the balcony. We used our balcony off of our bedroom in Seattle all the time, just FYI.
Yeah, well, and we did after we opened up with the wall to be an entire wall of windows with curtains that went around to the side walls so they didn't block the view. But once we did that, then all of a sudden we were out on that balcony all the time.
Yeah. So let's move on to the third component of the main suite, the bathroom. And this is where my head just spins because I didn't love any of the bathrooms in this episode. I thought everyone had aspects of the bathroom that were good or even great, but then there were other parts of it that I just didn't understand or I didn't think were functional. So I can't even get my head around like which one I liked better. If I had to have one of those bathrooms, which one would I pick?
And I think three of the four didn't have a door on the shower. The idea that the shower and the shower spray should be integrated with the rest of the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much sort of the walk-in shower kind of aspect that's very popular right now. But the problem was it was super open. It wasn't like there was even like, a partial wall where you'd walk in. It was like the entire shower was just part of the bathroom. No door, no wall, no nothing, or maybe wall on one side. And I don't, again, practicality, you're going to get the whole bathroom wet. So
especially with the way that Paige and Mitch did it. They definitely pulled the rain shower out more into the floor. That at least they had a rain shower, but if you've got a rain shower like we do here, and now we do in our renovated bathroom, and the old one we did not, and then in our old one back in Washington, we also had that too, and it was situated such that if you were using the sprayer on the wall, you could be influenced by both the rain shower and that. And in Paige and Mitch's bathroom, the rain shower was far enough away from that was not going to be the case. In fact, I think it was actually it felt like it was more into the rest of the bathroom, like behind one of the vanities. And I just don't get that. I don't get that kind of thing. But yeah, having it open. not my favorite.
Yeah, and it was what they all did, I think, except Evan and Keith. And I think since we're talking about Paige and Mitch's bathroom, I mean, they used some sort of Moroccan plaster, which apparently is waterproof. And I mean, it's kind of cool. They used that instead of tile, and it did give it a different look and feel. They also used some sort of pink granite, which I actually have to admit I didn't hate it with that Moroccan plaster and the wood they chose. I thought it was a good look altogether. I would not choose that granite for my bathroom if I were redoing it, but it wasn't. It was pleasant. It wasn't something that would make me not buy the house. And, you know, the one good thing that I liked about their bathroom, it's a very small thing, but you had natural light on the mirrors at the sinks, right? So if you were doing your makeup or something, getting ready to go out, you know, the windows were behind you on the sinks, and not everybody made that choice. So I thought that was smart. But, I mean, I wasn't wowed by it, you know?
Oh, they had built a wall kind of across the middle of it, too, which would, I think, it defined the spaces, and it looked kind of neat because it was all arched but I don't know. I think it might have better defined the spaces, and it did look good. They also had a rain shower for the tub, which
some people like having a shower over their tub. It wouldn't be something I'd use, but you know, it was there.
But it was there. The tub was up against the wall. I mean,
and they had kind of a neat lighting treatment too. They had sort of
they kind of did what Brian and Sarah did in the living room. They kind of did that in the bathroom.
Yeah, so there were sort of cutouts protrusions that popped out of the ceiling, and then the lighting was behind that. So it did give it kind of an interesting feel.
Yeah, a little bit of different texture on the ceilings. That looked pretty nice.
So liked it, didn't love it. Let's talk about Keith. Oh, sorry, go
on. The shower niche.
Oh, all right. Stephen's pet peeve of the week: shower niches.
Shower niches. Shower niches. Okay, so you got to put your stuff somewhere. You know, and I'm trying to think. Paige and Mitch, I think they had two. They had two square ones, one above the other, that looked like they were probably big enough. They weren't very dramatic or anything, and nobody did any. You know, in our niches, we always have some sort of decoration in there. It always looks slightly different. I guess this one just not as different as what we did in Washington, but but at least theirs was. They had two, and it was decent sized.
It's shocking to me, not only on Rock the Block, but on open houses and things that we go to, how many people design these very spacious, beautiful showers, and then they'll have like an 8x8 shower niche, right? And so if you have a couple people that are using that shower and they need shampoo, conditioning, body wash, etc., there's no way you can fit that stuff in there. So I do not know why designers do not put decent-sized niches in their showers. And like Stephen said, you can do something decorative with it so it doesn't look ugly. But you know, it just feels like, again, functionality. Many people don't do that.
Yeah, in Washington, we were using 36 by 12 tile, and so we just made the entire niche the same size, so it was great. It was really nice and big. We had a couple of different tiles on the back of it, so you know, which picked up the theme and the rest of it. Here we were a little limited because of some of the power and stuff in the on the other side of the wall, that we couldn't make it nearly as big, but it's still big. Before, our shower had one little bitty one. It was, you know, maybe, I guess, for you to put your razor on, and then the other one was so small. And so since we both used the shower, you know, we'd have those baskets, and we'd carry our stuff in, carry our stuff out.
Just like you were back in your college dorm room. You'd have to take your little bin to the shower with your stuff in it.
Yeah. So now we're back to it's just in the shower. When you go in the shower, what you need is already there. So you know.
Okay. Well,
the other thing about Paige and Mitch, what it seemed to me was that the rain shower was at a certain place that you'd have to go by the rain shower to turn it on, and then you'd have to get wet coming back out, and it'd be cold. And so I thought the placement of the controls for all of that was a bad idea.
Okay.
Now I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome, Amy.
Let's move on to Keith and Evan. So Keith and Evan, I have to say, I loved their tub space the best. Their tub was on one side of the bathroom. It was a little wall behind it. They had a big window to the left of the tub, and it opened to French doors, so it was very private.
Yeah, the
very
French doors
pretty.
opened up on the side of the balcony too. So
Yeah. So I'm a big tub person. I could see relaxing in that tub. I thought the only thing I would say about their tub is it was a little small. But then again, and they made this same mistake in their first season. All of their vanity space did not have natural light. So their vanity space was on the other side of the bathroom. The shower was up against the wall where the window was.
For vampires.
Well, I don't know if it's because they're both men and they're not thinking about like you need natural light for makeup and what have you, that it's just not something that's top of their consideration, maybe.
Well,
but
you're doing your makeup in the closet.
oh, I'm sorry.
Remember? So,
excuse me. I got that wrong. Okay.
Right. You're not doing makeup in the... There was no vanity.
But
there was no place to do makeup.
Yeah, there was no vanity, and
neither was there a shower niche.
Yes,
None.
Tiny shower niche. Yes, so that immediately disqualified because of the tiny shower niche. But
none.
I thought their choice of tile and their choice of marble and all of the materials they used in their bathroom were very pretty. They really went together cohesively. I liked the color of the floating cabinets that they had, but I didn't love the fact that there was not natural light on the mirrors there, and I didn't love the fact that it was sort of L-shaped cabinets, so you'd have one person against one wall and one person on the other. So it's kind of a hit and a miss. I didn't love it. I like some things about it.
Yeah, the floating cabinets, they were the only ones to do that. And I did think it looked good. I thought their color choices were good. The judge dinged them, and I'm sure this person is a lovely person, but I have to, I'm not going to give anything away here, but when they were recapping and they're talking to the different teams about the judging, and I don't know which one's Lindsay and which one's Leslie, but one said, I disagreed with her on everything. And, that is the quote of the day for the judge. I'm sure she's a lovely person, but I don't know where she's getting her design aesthetics. I guess she does farmhouses in New England, and as Lindsay or Leslie said, she should go back to doing that.
Oh, well, she's the one who was paired with the Backstreet Boy last year.
That's
right.
And
I didn't love her judging, but then I also have to say I was so up in the air on all these bathrooms and bedrooms. There wasn't one that I said, yes, this is the winner.
Yeah, and the thing she didn't like about Keith and Evan was that in that corner, they put a wood... a little wood closet that went up to about the same height of the sconces, and it looked a little disjoint. She hated it because she said it's not the 70s. Mm-hmm. I think that they just missed it on design, because I think if they had curved edges to it, if they had made it look more organic to the other things that were on the wall, I think it would have been fine, but it did kind of stand out. I get that part.
Yeah, the idea of storage in the corner I think is good, and I'm a person who really believes you can never have too much storage, so more storage is good storage. But you're right, Stephen. I think if they'd made that a little more organic, it would have been, they wouldn't have gotten called out on it.
Yeah, the shower was pretty. They didn't have a niche. At least, no. We saw 3 stores. They had a nice bench, and it was nice and big.
No niche.
No niche. No niche. Seemed like they, I'd like the 2 vanities on the same stretch of granite, not going around a corner. They probably could have designed that a little bit different. They could have done a couple of things that would have been better. I agree with Amy. These teams, they were nice components to a lot of them. But we decided to change things up this week and to grade or rank them. And I'm with her. Nobody got a top grade from me on the bathroom.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we've got 2 more bathrooms to talk about, Stephen. What did you think of the twins' bathroom?
Oh, the twins' bathroom. Well, they did one thing in there that nobody else did. They found room to put a little sauna, which our judge thought, well, nobody likes the look of a sauna, so at least you hid the door. Whatever. But they had a sauna, which was kind of neat, and they had the tub in the middle of the floor, though, so it's like if you were going to the open air shower, and then you wanted to go to the bathroom. I don't try to get my steps in when I'm in the bathroom, But I'm telling you, in this bathroom, you're going to get your steps in walking around the tub that's in the middle of the room. So they had some nice natural light. They could have put that up against the wall under the window. It would have been a little bit more out of the way. Again, I think this is one of those places where the teams kind of lost their originality on designing a good bathroom space. And for that reason, I think they kind of all got lost. I mean, they did find room for a sauna, but they couldn't figure out, a good place to put the tub.
I love the tub in front of a window, by the way. And the tub in the middle of the room, it just feels like it's the focal point. And then if I'm taking a bath, I feel like, oh, I'm in the tub. Come look at me. I'm the centerpiece of the room. It's not my favorite.
Yeah, and the judge looked at it and was standing next to the vanities, and where you would be, kind of facing, and the thing. She's, oh, I love having the tub here because you can stand here and you can see the tub as you're looking out the view. Huh?
Yeah.
Like really? What? I'm not going to say what I wrote down.
Yeah, I mean, I did love the fact that they put a sauna in. I'm not a big fan, as we've talked about, of the no-door, completely open shower. Although, it looked nice enough. And there was no bench in the shower, which I do think it's nice to have a bench if you've got a big shower.
Two crazy small niches. Again, one I think could only put like a razor on it, and the other one, oh my gosh! I mean, people that don't use showers design showers like this.
Okay. All right. So again, once again, some nice things about their bathroom and some not so nice things. So I didn't love it. And then finally, we moved to Brian and Sarah, who moved around their whole design so that they could have, more space for the bedroom. And I just was not a huge fan of what they did in the bathroom. I thought some of it was pretty, but they had, first of all, the bathtub was not against a window. It was against a wall with a big chandelier over it. They had a huge shower with a big window in the shower that looked like it was frosted glass, so people weren't looking in on you while you're taking a shower, but you did have some natural light. And again, it was a walk-in shower. And then they divided up the space by putting 2 vanities with a walkway in between them, which we just got rid of in our bathroom, so I'm not a fan. But what they did...
The hallway to nowhere.
But what they did was pretty, but then they ended up with this pretty large-sized space in the back of the bathroom that was big enough that they could put a small tree in it. And I'm just like... they've got this tiny closet and they've got a frickin' tree in the bathroom. It just, it didn't compute for me, Stephen. I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah. So, again, I think that they just got lost on how to design this. So you walk between the 2 vanities, and then on one side was the water closet, and then on the other side was
the shower.
The shower. There was another door. It probably goes to the laundry, which they didn't do. And so then that ends. So you go past these doors, and then there's this dead space. So they built this faux planter, and they put a fake tree in it. And then, again, just wasted space that obviously you could have designed the space to be a little bit better. So I didn't care too much for that. They did... in talking about, so each team, when they win, they get a certain amount of money, right? So last week, Brian and Sarah got $2,000 because they were one of the co-winners, and they spent $2,000 on the chandelier over the tub. Keith and Evan used it on a bidet. So argue who spent their money more appropriately, but I kept looking at this chandelier going, would I spend $2,000 on that?
I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool, but it was, again.
Yeah, my taste might be different.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's cut to the chase. The winner this week was Paige and Mitch.
Boo.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we tried to score each element separately, bedroom, closet, and bathroom. And actually, at the end of the day, I had them tied with Lindsay and Leslie for first, I think, simply because I hated Brian and Sarah's closet so much. And I just thought Keith and Evan, I didn't love their closet. I didn't love their bedroom. I didn't love their bathroom. I mean, I thought it was all kind of mediocre. So I don't know. I guess Paige and Mitch as much as the next person, but I wasn't blown away by it at the end of the day.
Yeah, I had to ding them on the bedroom because of the trip fall hazard.
Yeah.
I think if it didn't have that, I would have ranked their bedroom better, and then I would have agreed with the judge. And then when it came to the bathroom, I thought obviously Brian and Sarah's was the worst, and the other three I couldn't really distinguish between, so I ranked them all second, a tie for second, and then fourth. And then when it came to the closet, it was easy. Excuse me. It was the twins, and then Paige and Mitch, and then Keith and Evan, and then ranked below the ranking level. And coming in last in my rankings, Brian, and whatever her name is, Sarah. So I would have given the win to HGTV's Main Suite Designers of the Year, Leslie and Lindsay.
Yeah, I kind of think that, but they botched it with some of the choices they made in their bedroom, and their bathroom was a little disjointed. So it was really tough. If I could take Sarah and Brian's bedroom and the windows they did there, take Leslie and Lindsay's closet, and then various elements from the other bathrooms, because there wasn't any bathroom I loved, that would be what would be the winner for me. But it was Paige and Mitch. They got the $3,000. So next week, who knows? Maybe they'll buy a generator or something. I don't know, with their $3,000.
Yeah, and kind of looking back at. Since they were dealing with the balconies, and we could really get a sense of what was viewable from Paige and Mitch's balcony, and all of the balconies on 1 and 4, they were facing away from the house, and so then on 2 and 3 they kind of faced each other. So the balcony, they had kind of dueling balconies there. So in this particular case, it really looks like house number 4 has a lot of advantages, because when they were looking at the view and looking at the balcony, you could see what the view in the area was off to the right, which would have been the wall for Brian and Sarah. And it was a beautiful view that way too. So the view isn't just down the water, which they all have. Brian and Sarah are kind of shoved up against these other houses, so their view down the water isn't necessarily so good, which is why switching that around and having the bedroom more towards the inside of the house means that from the bedroom they had the clearer view down the water. So I think that was another smart idea for them. And they also had another window. If you remember, on the living areas, they kind of opened up that outside wall to have more natural light. They did the same thing in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And so, you could see that they're taking advantage of something that the other teams aren't going to be able to, because of the positioning of where they're at, and how houses 2 and 3 are going to get any advantage I'm not exactly sure, but obviously house number 4 has a couple of clear advantages, and the designers are leveraging that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I think Brian and Sarah, they did do a good job taking advantage of the view. If only they had taken some of that bathroom space and given us 2 closets in the main suite, I think it would have been a winning week for them. But that tiny closet just did them in.
I insist. So they live in Florida. They're supposed to know. They're supposed to know how much room you need in a closet. I guarantee you neither of them could fit their stuff in that closet.
Yeah.
Neither of them.
It was not a closet for 2 people.
No.
Yeah.
They wound up with the small closet, and they just decided to try to come up with a reason for it, and everybody's just looking at them going, huh? You got to work harder on one. Either you got to work harder on your excuses, or you got to work harder on making the closet better. But they didn't work hard enough on either of those 2 things,
Yeah, and you could tell they just looked crestfallen, and Sarah looked a little mad after she got dinged on the closet. So anyway, we started in the closet. We're back in the closet at the end of our recap. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to our recap. We can't wait to get back to you next week. I don't think they actually told us what the space is going to be for next week. Oh, it's going to be the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. The pool. All right. So
yeah, it was kind of interesting. I know she was signing off here, but they were showing some of the shots, and when they showed one of the shots of Brian and Sarah's balcony, you could see in the corner that it was something that was taken later on, because there is a pool there and there's a cabana.
Yeah. So we got accidentally a preview. We think they did a pickup shot or something, and you could see the finished pool down there.
Right.
So
yeah. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It looked nice.
Well,
but next week is pool week.
I'm super excited for pool week. We've never had all the homes with the pool before. We've never had a chance to see what the designers could do with the pool outside space, and I just think that's so much fun. So I'm really looking forward to next week's episode, and we hope that you'll tune in again next week and hear us talk about the beautiful pools that all these teams no doubt will be designing.
So the question is, since all of these are each show is redemption, nobody's done a pool. Can they call it Pool Redemption Week?
I don't know, Stephen.
Dun, 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 dun.
We will see. All right. Well, thanks again, guys, and we'll talk to you next week.